Okay, so Elizabeth, I always mispronounce your beautiful last name. Can you please pronounce it? Treonze.
Or Treonze.
From, is it Treonze Real Estate? Is that the name of your business?
Treonze Real Estate.
Beautiful. How many years have you actually been in the real estate game for?
20 years.
20 years. So you were 2 years old when you started?
Pretty much, yes.
So tell us, you told the group briefly before just a little bit about what got you started. Can you just let us know again just what inspired you to start out in the industry?
Yes, so basically, unfortunately, my marriage came to an end and I had to sell my home, as everybody does when they're going through, these sort of traumas. And it was quite a traumatic time for me and my children. And the way that these people were selling my home was just horrible. They were advertising it incorrectly. They were just making it really hard. One day walked into my home when I was in the shower.
Oh my goodness.
Said that they rang me and I said, "You never rang." It was just horrible. It was the worst time for me. And I made the decision that I felt that there needed to be people that actually cared in the industry and more women, that women have more empathy. And I've worked in sales for most of my life, so I knew that I'd be great at it. And I just felt like there needs to, your home isn't just a number. So there's memories in there and there's emotions, and it's a big time for anybody that's selling their home. So basically, decided to go into real estate, sold my home to the woman that brought it and paid the commission to the agent. So from then I decided I was going to go and never looked back.
Amazing. And then since then you've sold 2 businesses.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. When was the first one? How long ago?
The first one?
Yeah,
the first one was 5.5 years ago. 5.5 years.
And the second one was
actually 6 years ago, I beg your pardon. And the last one was just before Christmas last year.
Beautiful. Yeah. And what was the biggest learning for you in selling the 2 businesses?
Okay, so the first one I sold, as you know, the first time you do things, you're learning. So the second time, a little bit better. So the first time I sold the business, it was to, I am very ethical at what I do and I do the right thing, and I do have a very good reputation in the industry, throughout the industry. People that know me don't have a problem buying my business because of that. So I was very lucky. You do the right thing, you shouldn't have problems selling your business because people in your industry will know everything about you. Am I right? Yeah.
What kind of business was it?
Real estate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yes. Yeah. So I had the first one. I had 3 people that wanted to buy it. I never went officially to market, but as soon as you speak to one person, you find that everybody else is calling you.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you want to sell? Elizabeth, you want to sell? Elizabeth, you want to sell? Yes. And so basically sold it to somebody, the first one that I knew and trusted. And I learnt a lot. Because when you first start a business, you'll hire anyone because you don't know when you're learning. And I had probably the worst property manager that you could ever have, and the percentage that she was doing was not even sustaining her wage. So I knew the second time that I needed to bring that up and bring the level up. And basically it happened again. So I told one person, I got out into the industry, and what they said is, if she's selling her business, don't even hesitate, buy it. And so I don't know these things because I just keep doing what I'm doing. Like you were saying, Dominic, you do it. It's never been about the money, it's about the service, and then the money comes. Everything's word of mouth. Successful businesses are all word of mouth. So I just had to make sure that whoever I sold it to, I wanted to make sure that my staff stayed on, they came into the shopping centre, so I was doing the right thing by everybody. So there was no karma coming back to me on that, so I knew that I had to sell it to, an Indian person because, over the last couple of years, the Lyndhurst area had become predominantly very, a lot more Indians were coming to that area. So I felt that that's what the area needed. Yeah, that's how I was, just very strategic in everything that I did. I really thought about it. And he was just the nicest gentleman, and came in, and so we negotiated a bit. I did learn a couple of things when you're negotiating a business for the second time. So if I was to do it again, and hopefully I won't be, because I want this one to be my last, you know, you really need to think about everything and pinpoint everything, you know, everything that goes with selling the business. What happens, because people want you know, they want a period that, okay, well, I'm holding on to, well, for me it was 30%, and I'm holding on to that 30% for 4 months. Now 4 months is a bit long, it really is, because if somebody's going to lose business, they're going to lose business before that. So I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I think that you cap it at tops 3 months, tops, if the buyer wants that, you know, because in that time, if they're not able to keep the business,
you're going to start losing.
You lose money. Yeah, and that's what happened. Yeah, I basically lost 20,000 out of it, so I'm not happy about that. Which, you know, I was like, why did you lose the business? Yeah, so you've got every right to find out why they did that, when I was so careful and nurturing with all of my landlords, and you know, they loved us. And then once I moved out and I was dealing with other real estate agents, I started to realise why they did. Because the service is just appalling out there. You get what you pay for at the end of the day. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who are selling a business at the moment?
I would suggest that you go through people in your industry. It's just easier. Most of the times you don't need to go to market to sell a business. Selling a business at market is a lot harder. You know, I've sold a few in real estate as well, and it does take a while to sell a business unless you have one that everybody wants, you know. Small businesses are built a lot stronger because you care more about it. You know, there's a lot of emotion in it that goes into somebody that owns a small business, because you're putting your heart and soul into it. So because you're doing that, you know, I would suggest touching base with people that are in your industry, 100%.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
That's okay.
Really appreciate it. Does anyone in the group have any questions for Elizabeth at all about her journey? Anything that she shared? No?
Elizabeth, if you knew then what you know now, would you have embarked on a small business journey sooner, at the same time, or later? All other things being equal.
Good question.
So I started the business 9 years ago. While my children were young, I worked in new homes. So that was a lot easier for me, you know, and then I worked with investors and we did seminars. So I've got a pretty broad, you know, experience of the whole industry. There's not much that I don't know about the whole industry as a whole. I had to wait for my children to grow up, and I had to be ready for it. So as far as established market goes, I was only in established market for probably 5 years of that. And I knew it was going to be a big commitment and I had to be ready for that. But one day I just decided, I was working for agents, you know, I'd worked for 2 or 3, I think it was at the time, over the 5 years, and just thought, these people are teaching me what not to do, you know, and I thought, I'm sick of this, I'm just going to go and start my own. When I did my full license and said, okay, I'm doing this, and then people rang me and said, you've done it. I said, yeah, I told you I'm doing. Yeah, so, you know, they didn't believe me. I'm like, yeah, but to start it sooner, you have to be ready for it. You've got to be ready for it, and you would agree with this, Monica?
100%.
Mentally, physically, emotionally.
Financially.
Financially, you know, you can kind of, yes, to a point, yeah,
To a big
but
point,
you've got to
yeah.
trust yourself. I never, you know, it surprises me how people say to me, you know, it took me 3 years before I started making money, and they're running real estate offices, and I'm like,
Yeah, this is
I started making money the minute I opened my doors. So I never understood that, you know, but they probably invested too much to begin with. You know, I'm a big believer in, like, you keep it small, you keep it boutique,
And you evolve.
you know, yes. And at
Keep
one
it
stage
real,
I had 10
just keep it
staff
real.
in my Berwick office when I was there, and that was
Too
a
much.
nightmare. It didn't work any better, and it didn't make more money. It actually worked the opposite, because unfortunately you're handling staff that,
Money they haven't
and
done
you're
anything
dealing
for
with their emotions on a daily basis, you know, and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
So I'd love to hear how you make that successful. You know,
The
'cause
teams.
the teams.
Teams is a
the
big
team
thing
has
that I
always
work
been a
with.
struggle for me.
Yeah, they have to have
Yeah.
a emotional buy-in to your vision and mission.
Yeah.
If they're not feeling that they understand what they're moving towards, they will look at any excuse to check out and then eventually just leave. So when they've got a buy-in, when they know your vision and they feel a part of it, they will stay.
I don't know, maybe it's just real estate because you just don't get staff that are.
Not really. It's
No.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere,
so
but also
hard.
business
No
has
matter how
changed
good
so
You
much.
treat them.
People are coming in and then stealing ideas and going off and finding their own passion projects as well. So to have people stay in a team, it needs to be more about a collaborative process as well. It's the whole landscape of business is changing and teams is changing too. Everyone's popping up and setting up websites and setting up their own businesses and offshooting from different things. Some successful and some not. But it's clarity of your vision and then nurturing that which you do amazingly well. Yeah.
And I think you can see it. You can see the passion of the staff when you interview them. I had a couple of people came here, and the way she was sitting like she's sitting in a bar.
What?
That makes
Honestly.
you want to hire.
I would have gone, there's the door.
There's the
honey.
door, honey.
And after that, just
sure you
literally,
Yeah.
I just literally
Yeah.
we close the door after that. Just,
It's not, yeah.
and second day, not Les,
Denise.
May, she introduced this lady called Denise. I think she's gonna come late today,
Yeah.
and she's so bloody passionate. And
Oh,
we had a meet-
Rev.
Yes,
She's
this,
in the makeup or
Yes.
perfume business.
Perfume, yes.
Yeah, I know that company. Yeah.
she's working as a sub agent for us, and she
Beautiful.
she's fantastic. And even when I've seen the passion and what she can do for the business,
Hmm.
we offered her more than 10% more than
Wow.
anybody else's.
That's
Because we
fantastic.
just found out she's there. She's
Yeah.
there, and she just wants somebody. You know when you've got the train running and you just want to put it on the rail. She's
Oh,
running.
yeah.
You just want to put it on the rail, and she's gonna go. And that's what we.
Yeah.
That's what we just.
That's hard to find.
Yesterday I gave
Yeah.
her the full training, and
Wow.
yeah, she's
I'm happy
fantastic.
to hear
lady.
it.
She's young. She's vibrant. She's connected. She's young, but she's not over
wise in her mind.
very
So
wise.
Yeah.
No, she knows what she wants, and she's very hard worker. She's got 3 jobs.
Wow.
And when somebody tells me I've got 3 jobs, it says it all. I want to work. I want to make money. I want to be successful.
Just make sure you keep her uncapped commissions. That's all that matters to people like that. Okay,
No,
look, sales guys,
it's fantastic.
if you get
commission, man.
uncapped. A lot of people give commissions.
What do you mean by uncapped?
Well, that means when
No
you.
ceiling.
Thank you. You just don't stop. If you do 10 sales,
Why
you
would you
do
stop?
110 sales.
Yeah.
Your